Day 7, Searching for Answers. The shock and confusion that follow a tragic and unexpected loss can leave us feeling as if we've been duped or we've missed something. Attempting to catch up, our minds work in overdrive to piece things together, to connect the dots, to understand the hows and whys of what has happened. Perhaps you've experienced some of these types of questions in the wake of the loss of your baby. Was it something I ate? Did I exercise too heavily? Could my doubts about being ready for this baby have made my womb inhospitable? Was it a chromosomal abnormality? When did the baby pass away exactly? Perhaps your questions are more existential. Why would God answer our prayers for a baby after years of infertility only to take it away? Why would He give us a surprise pregnancy we didn't expect or ask for, let us love the baby, and then allow him or her to die? Why did this happen again? Our minds race anxiously as if the path to peace and the way out of our pain is paved by our ability to make sense of the seemingly senseless. If I could just figure out what went wrong or the reason behind it, I could stop hurting so badly. If I could just figure out why and how this happened, I could rest. Although there is much we can learn through testing and ultrasounds, many answers in miscarriage are unavailable. In spite of what our minds may tempt us to believe, we cannot know or understand everything. In Psalm 139, verse 6, David acknowledges the limits of his own finite mind. He moves from simply declaring God's omniscience to confessing in humility that he, in contrast, does not know everything. Even if he tried, he could not attain full understanding. Asking questions in the face of loss is not sinful. We're in good company when we ask why. The book of Job contains a great deal of suffering and a lot of whys. At the end of the book, God responds to all Job's questions, but not in the way we might expect. He doesn't offer Job specific answers to his questions about suffering, but rather answers with himself, describing through rhetorical questions his sovereignty, his knowledge, his control, and his wisdom. Job responds to God with similar language to that of Psalm 139. I know that you can do all things, and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. Who is this that hides counsel without knowledge? Therefore, I have uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. Job 42, verses 2 and 3. Job did what Eve would not. In the Garden of Eden, Eve reached for the knowledge held out to her by the serpent, believing it could offer her something more than the God who forbade it. The fruit of knowledge seemed sweeter to her than knowing God himself, and her pursuit of it led her away from him. Our tendency, too, is to believe that peace and satisfaction are found in what we can know, rather than in simply and humbly placing our trust and finding rest in the one who knows. Job and David practiced the exact opposite of Eve's response to the serpent in the garden. In humility, they acknowledged God to be all-knowing and declared their own understanding to be limited. That is wisdom. Our questions are not sinful in and of themselves. God welcomes our whys. By bringing our questions to Him, we acknowledge Him to be the one who knows all things. But we err when we think He owes us an answer. We err when we think of Him as a means to our intended end, rather than seeing that He is the end in and of Himself.